y'all. From Frankie Beverly to Faith Evans, from Anita Baker to Andre 3000, and from Maxwell to Megan Thee Stallion. The music has always held the lesson. We just didn't know we were supposed to be taking notes. I want to welcome y'all to Lyrical Lessons with Leo, and I'm your girl, Leo Rochelle, your lyrical therapist for this evening. This is the show where we dive into old school R&B, Southern hip hop, neo soul, and everything above and beyond to uncover the emotional and psychological lessons hiding in the lyrics. Because the music's been your lesson all along. Now, let me help you understand what it's been saying to you. This is Lyrical Lessons with Leo, and let's dive into our song for today. Y'all ready? This another old school. Lately, the songs that I've been doing on here and a lot of the songs that I've been listening to have been old school, right? So this one is not like old school, like the first two that I did, but it is old school. It is it's I Love You by Keith Washington and Chante Moore. Now, let me tell y'all something. I don't know if you guys know about this song, how long ago this song came out, but when I listen to my Saturday morning cleaning music or my Sunday morning cleaning playlist, sometimes it'll go into other songs. And this song came up, and it was a song that I believe my aunt like truly, truly loved. So as I got to listening to it, I was like, "Oh, this is sexy. This is one of those songs you listen to and you feel like you want to fall in love, or you feel like you want to do some over the top amazing kind of things." Just because of the way that they talk about love, the way they talk about or explain, I love you. That's how it feels. It feel like the sound of it makes you want to do that. Or say words like I fancy you, that kind of stuff. So but the theme of this episode is that this song is about what happens when love feels emotionally safe, spiritually aligned, and deeply consuming all at once. Not toxic obsessive love, not survival love, not chaos disguised as passion. This is a song about surrendering to real love, okay? After finally encountering a connection that feels emotionally nourishing. But underneath the softness, this song also explores um, emotional vulnerability, fear of losing love, attachment, emotional dependence, romantic idealization, and the desire to emotionally merge with another person. I like that one. Like that's gonna be my favorite one. Like emotionally merging with another person. I feel like that is so grown. And a lot of us have yet to be able to experience what it's like to emotionally merge with another person, to fully connect and deep dive into that space, especially with the way that the dating scene is today. Um, but when someone makes you feel emotionally seen, desired, and safe, you create a whole different type of connection, whole different type of relationship, whole type of different thing going on with you and that person. Like, it's so beautiful that it's life changing. That's how beautiful the relationship can be if all of those things are in alignment. You feel emotionally safe, seen, and understood, and desired. Like somebody wants to know you, somebody is curious about you. That's what love feels like. Love, I feel like if you're not curious about me, or you don't ask questions about me, or you don't inquire about me as a person, that you don't like me. Because how can you like me when you don't talk to me or ask questions about me? Because what is it that you like? But also, if you're not inquiring about me, then at what point, Are you actively getting to know me when you don't ask questions? And how can we get to this love that we're talking about, being fully emotionally desired, seen, understood, and felt, and all of that kind of stuff? So, how are we gonna get there if we're not talking and having and asking questions and all of those kind of things? So, you know, think about it. But honestly, when we talk about this level of emotional safety, it can be so terrifying for some people. It can be so terrifying. It can be so scary to have someone see you emotionally in this way, to have someone understand you, to have someone that wants to inquire about why things make you feel this way, all of those kind of things. And it can be absolutely scary for somebody who is used to protecting themselves, kind of keeping to themselves, being very reserved with their emotions, their feelings, and all of that kind of stuff. Because in these kind of relationships that we're talking about, you cannot, in no shape, form, or fashion, be closed off to the person that you're in the relationship with simply because the relationship allows you to be safe, seen, heard, understood, desired. And so, if that's what the relationship is leading with, there is no way that you can be closed off, shut down, or any of that in order for the relationship to even get to that space. So, when you are used to protecting yourselves from the world and from people and all of that kind of stuff and being emotionally um, vulnerable, it makes a big difference when you have somebody who is um desiring those things from you. So we finna get into the breakdown. So, lyric moment number one. He says, sit back, relax your mind, just let my love flow through you. Because all this time, my love is with you, and you don't have to worry. Mm, that's the opening. That's the opening of the song, y'all. That's the opening. That's where it starts. This is literally this man saying, come on. Come on in here. Come on, sit down and get this love, little girl. um, because this is not just somebody saying I love you. This is somebody saying you are emotionally safe here with me. Right here, right now, today, you are emotionally safe here with me. Come on, get this love. Stop playing with me. Stop running from what is meant to be, and stop running from what you're supposed to have too. Because a lot of us, we desire things, but then we end up running from the exact thing that we say we want because it requires us to do more than what we said that we wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, we say we want to be emotionally safe, heard, seen, understood, and desired, but then that requires something of you. That requires you to allow that other person to be the same way as well. But also, it requires you to be receptive. It requires you to be vulnerable. It requires you to let down your guard. It requires you to be present in all of those spaces. And a lot of times, you guys, we are like, no thanks. I thought that's what I wanted, but that is too calm. It's too mature. And you can keep it. So that is one of the biggest things when we talk about the dating scene and we talk about being um seen and vulnerable and all of that kind of stuff, and even safe. Those things require some type of reciprocity and some accountability. If you want to be emotionally seen, heard, understood, and desired, then the person is going to want that in return, right? But also, again, it's going to require more of you to be present in that space. And a lot of times we don't realize that when we keep saying that we want something, okay? So, um, a lot of people don't realize how healing reassurance can be. So, reassurance in this way can be healing. It can be intimidating, one, but it can also be very healing. And it gives us the space to reset our nervous system. Our nervous system can be reset in that space as well. So it's very healing to have reassurance and understanding and knowing, especially when we are used to abandonment, inconsistency, being betrayed, emotional neglect, hyper independence, unstable relationships, even in relationships where you are abused physically, emotionally, financially, all of those kind of things. And people have experienced all of that. And so when people experience that gambit of things, not saying one person has experienced all of that, but also one person may have experienced all of that, it is healing in such a way that it makes you nervous. Um because him saying you never have to worry, um that hits differently with people, especially when he can line it up. He can say, you don't ever have to worry about blah, 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 blah. But also, not him just saying that, but now he's showing you that you don't have to worry. He's laying everything out on the line. He's showing you don't have to worry. He's showing up for you. He's being present. He's listening to your thoughts and goals and dreams and needs and putting the backing behind it and all of those kind of things. And so I think one of the biggest things when it comes to all of that is that a lot of us are often like, yeesh, this is a lot. And it's because we aren't always prepared for someone who can see us in that way and allow and be emotionally available and have the capacity and space for somebody who is looking for that same thing. So um many people in relationships and things like that, when we think about it, a lot of us um we aren't craving romance first. We are looking for peace first. We are looking for safety first. We're looking for all of those things first because those things can allow us to get to the romance, to be open, to be vulnerable, to allow ourselves that space to fully let ourselves simply be with that person. And so it's a different understanding and a different feeling when you can be and not have to continue to over compensate or over you don't have to show up more than the other person, or it's not a competition, or it's all of those kind of things. So we look for the peace part in relationships first because a lot of us want to stop wondering, do you want me? Are you leaving? Can I trust this? Am I emotionally secure here? We wonder all of those things initially. And so once we get to the space that we don't have to wonder and don't have to worry, especially in the initial phase of the relationship, my God, that allows the space for us to truly dive deep and dig deep into all of the things that we've discovered, we've talked about, we've learned about, and all of that kind of stuff. So this song is literally giving us that space. It's giving us the space to truly listen and hear him say, you don't have to worry. There's so many more lyrics that talk about or that back up him saying you don't have to worry. But that opening is a lot. The opening is a lot for you to truly be like, oh my God, yes, this is it. This is what I was looking for. This is what I was talking about. Blah, 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 da, da, da. Because Keith did his thing. I can say that Keith did his thing when he was talking about when this whole song was created. If you really listen to the song, that's what it's talking about. But this song understands that emotional safety itself can feel romantic. Here is the deeper layer to that. And then we gonna hop down into the mental theme, because we gotta give you the theme behind that lyric. The deeper layer in this set of lyrics is sometimes people become so emotionally relieved by peace that they accidentally begin idolizing the person providing it. Okay. And that can quietly create emotional dependency if you're not careful. Because if we are not used to something, one of the things that we end up doing is becoming dependent upon that particular thing and or person, because it has created such a space of safety that now we don't want it from nobody else, but I'm depending on you for my safety or for my peace, instead of creating the space where this person has peace, but I can also have peace with you or without you. So that's where the personal work comes in. Got it? Got it. Cool. So, the mental theme, emotional safety versus emotional dependency. And y'all know what we gonna prevent? Toxic outcomes. Healthy love should create emotional comfort. It should create that without being your only source of emotional stability. So it should create the space. You should feel comfortable and safe and all of that good shit. But that should not be the only space in which you feel it and or receive it. You still need your own self-worth, emotional grounding, boundaries, and identity outside of the relationship. Asking questions before you deep dive into a relationship with someone will help you to understand whether or not they understand that you should have an identity outside of that relationship. Whether, sometimes they might not understand it. So it's up to you to gauge that and have that understanding. So you're like, aha, I got it. So that's the preventing that toxic outcome. Okay, we preventing toxic outcomes. Da-da-da. Uh, so that's the losing my thoughts, y'all. That is what we are trying to prevent. We're trying to prevent emotional dependency, but we love emotional stability and a good space for emotional safety. Okay. So the reflective question is, are you experiencing emotional safety, or are you becoming emotionally dependent on being reassured? Because there is a difference. So which one are you doing? Hmm? Okay, I gave you a moment to think about it. Gave you a moment to reflect on it. So think about which one are you doing, and then we're gonna hop into the next part. The next part. Lyric moment number 2. This man says, "You have changed my world. My dreams have come true." Mm. So let's talk about that. That might not seem very impactful or very um mm, or aha worthy, but if we think about it, and we think about the dating scene today, and we think about what that entails and how deep it can get when we think about that, and how we think about um having our dreams to come true. You know, a lot of people have never had a dream come true, never had a miracle, never had this kind of love, never had this kind of reassurance or connection or any of that. So, this is the emotional high that people poetry about. This is where people start to talk about, this is the stuff people talk about in poetry and in romantic movies and rom-coms, that kind of thing. So this lyric taps into the transformational side of love. Okay. Um it's the feeling that life feels different because you exist in it now. Because you are now in my life, there is something different, there is something more um pressing, something more alluring about living this life because you're in it. You are a part of my life now. You exist in my life, but not just as a friend. You exist in my life as a love, a lover, a friend, all of those things. So you have literally changed my life. And healthy relationships, I say that again for the people in the back. Healthy relationships can inspire healing, increase confidence, restore hope, soften emotional wounds, and change how someone experiences life altogether. Because now all of those things have healed or have begun to heal, now there's a space of reassurance. Now there's the space of um I can breathe a little bit. Now I can be more present. I can be nicer. I can be less of a bitch. I can be um a little more welcoming and open and things like that, because now your guards aren't up as much. You don't have so much to protect yourself from, because now you're healing. Now you're doing the work, but not only are you doing the work, now you have someone else pouring into your cup. And a lot of times those of us who are constantly the ones pouring out, when we finally have someone that pours into us, it is a totally different situation. It is a totally different feeling. My God, I can't wait to have that feeling again. But it's a totally different feeling when you have someone who can do the pouring and allow you to receive, but also you still get to pour, which may help them to heal and let their guard down and heal some of their emotional wounds and all of that kind of stuff. So, love, regardless of what people try to tell you to say, like love hurts. No, it doesn't. People hurt you. Love does not. Love can transform people emotionally. But not only that, this lyric opens the door to an important conversation that we need to have. And I don't think we have it as often, how transformational love can be. Um, but also we don't want people to just erase the emotions from previous experiences. That's what we don't want. We don't want people to just erase those thoughts or feelings or any of that, because that is still information. It is still information. It is still an understanding of what's going on, what has happened, and it's information, it's data, but like you don't have to use it in this current relationship as a way to reaffirm your suspicions about previous relationships or anything like that. What you're doing in this current situation and in this relationship is not being naive and also not allowing the love to remove what you have. And another part of that is that a lot of times people get so engulfed by the love that they're currently experiencing that they no longer identify as themselves. They disconnect from their own individuality, their goals, their identity, and their emotional independence. Like we said earlier, we don't want people that's going to be emotionally dependent. We want people that will be emotionally independent, but also still be able to be present in the relationship. So, a lot of times we find that what starts as connection becomes emotional fusion, becomes you now become the grounding post for this other person. You now become the everything to this other person. And so when we talk about this kind of love in this particular song, we need to talk about both parties being emotionally healed, available, and all of those kind of things, because we do have a lot of healing. Not necessarily saying you have to be fully healed, but we do want people that have started to do the work, right? Because that makes it a lot less stressful for the other person to have to navigate so much heaviness or thickness when it comes to the relationship. Um and so this song kind of talks about the ups and downs, the ins and outs, but also still being very aware of how they navigate the emotions and the connection all the way together. Okay. So, the mental theme of these sets of lyrics is that transformation through love versus loss of self. Okay. We don't want to lose ourselves. A lot of us get so engulfed in relationships that we lose ourselves, we lose our mental, we lose our understanding of everything just because of this person. No, remember who you are, remember who you are, stand in your power and understanding of yourself, but also be okay with allowing yourself to be loved and cared for. Okay, cool. Cool. So we gonna do what? Prevent toxic outcomes. So a healthy relationship should do what? Add to you. Should add to your life. Not become your identity. It should not be the end all be all of who you are in that relationship. Again, it should be a healthy relationship. And if it is a healthy relationship, then we should not have to worry about it becoming your full identity, because although you are in love, love absolutely should expand you, support you, and inspire you. Okay? Cool. Cool. It should not emotionally consume you. And you should still be able to recognize yourself outside of the relationship. And people outside of your relationship should still be able to recognize you too, because that is something that happens. People get so fully enthralled and engulfed in their relationship. Now they don't have friends. Now they don't have family. Now they don't connect to anybody outside of this person, because this person has provided such a safe space that they are fully dependent on them for everything. Now, still be your whole self. Still be everything that you were before them, but allowing the love to transform and do what it do. Okay? That's what should be happening. So now the reflective question: has love in your life made you grow or made you slowly disappear into someone else? If you are disappearing, that is something that needs to be addressed and figured out. Okay? We don't want you disappearing. We don't want you doing none of that. All right? Cool. The next lyric moments, number 3. Um, he says, this is actually the chorus, I think. There's something about you, baby, can't explain. And it's driving me crazy. Now I'm going insane. Now, see, this is what we was just talking about. You up here going crazy now. Why you going crazy? What you doing? Why you out here cutting up? Why you going insane? Okay. So this, and I don't believe they're talking about insane in that way. Okay. What I do believe is that they are talking about the emotional chemistry. They are talking about the way that this relationship and this love has allowed them to, like, whoa, whoa. It's taking them aback. I'm finna go crazy. I'm finna lose my shit, because now you didn't became everything I needed you to be, and then some, right? So, um, the way that these lyrics were being explained is that of someone who has finally found the connection that they've desired, the reassurance, the reciprocity, the peace, all of that, and the connection. You know, like Like Legos, they fit together. I was finna grab my Legos from over here, but I didn't want to mess them up. But it fits. It fits together perfectly. Okay. And sometimes when that happens, there is no logical explanation sometimes for the things that you feel, but you also cannot explain it. So I think when people say, "Oh my God, that love was so amazing," it made me go insane. That's what they're saying. Like there's no logical way, or there is no way for me to explain this verbally so that you understand fully what I'm trying to get you to understand. Okay. Um, and that shit can feel dangerous, but it can feel good at the same time. Kind of like Beyonce saying being dangerously in love. You know what I'm saying? We don't want it to be dangerous though. We don't want it to be dangerously in love. That is calling out some other dependency issues and attachment issues too. But um emotional chemistry can absolutely awaken your vulnerability, trigger attachment. It can. Like I said earlier, now you dependent. Now you using this person and depending on them for your little bit of everything. So, but it also can create obsession, intensify longing, and activate emotional fantasies. We love a good fantasy over here. I love me a good emotional fantasy or whatever. I love me a good. Never mind. Never mind. So this lyric captures emotional intoxication, like you almost feel uh drunk in love. Like Beyonce said again. Beyonce got a lot of, you know, this little mental things going on with that kind of love she talking about. But um yeah, it can make you feel intoxicated. It feels overwhelming, and it's almost like I can't stop thinking about you type of thing, where you are constantly thinking of this person. It don't matter what you do, where you go, how you do it, you're constantly thinking of this person. But all while that can feel beautiful and whatnot, um this is where sometimes people lose sight of the clarity, the emotional clarity. Like they gone. They is gone over you, baby. They have lost it. They are no longer aware of the clarity. Now the lines are being blurred. Now they're not fully understanding of what's happening with them, to them, because now again, when you are drunk, you don't understand a lot of the things that you do say, or the actions that happen while you are drunk. So that's basically what this is saying. Like they are intoxicated with the love that you have given. They are intoxicated with the love that they are receiving. And so chemistry can make people ignore incompatibility, inconsistency, red flags, and emotional unavailability. And this is what happens a lot of times when we enter into relationships and we have not done the proper vetting, we have not taken the proper time to connect and fully deep dive into what that love looks like. And then when we are unaware of somebody's true and real emotional availability, and whether they have started to do the work, which is also why you ask the questions. Okay. Because people will tolerate emotional confusion because the emotional high feels powerful. People love being drunk and high because of the way it makes your head feel, your body feel. You feel free to say all of the things and do all of the things and all of that kind of stuff. And this song right here dances with the tension between being intoxicated in love, being drunk, all of that feel good type of shit. And then now you're like, oh, hold on. I don't know what you do to me. So that's what it can be. Sometimes that's what it can be. It can be the understanding of like People love to be high. People love to feel feelings, deep feelings, and all of that kind of stuff. So when they get to feeling deep feelings and emotions, then it really gives them the space to you learn more about people in that space and all of that kind of stuff, right? Um, so the mental theme is chemistry versus emotional discernment. Okay, so you gotta still use your discernment as you continue to connect and get involved with people, and while you're out here dating and all of that good stuff. So preventing toxic outcomes. Strong feelings do not automatically mean healthy connections. So just because you have strong feelings, just because you adore this person or enamored or whatever you're feeling for that person, it does not automatically mean that the connection is healthy. It may mean that this person is infatuated with you and that they are obsessed with you. And it's starting to create a different kind of feeling, because even though people may appear to be mentally well and they know how to navigate things in a lot of different ways, or maybe even hide their instability or mental instability, then it does give them the space to kind of move different once they start to recognize certain things within themselves, right? So, um, a few things to ask yourself as you start to build these connections. Is this person emotionally consistent? Do they communicate clearly? Is the relationship emotionally reciprocal, or am I addicted to how intense this feels? Because intensity and compatibility are not the same thing, right? It's not the same. So, the question for you is, have you ever confused emotional intensity with emotional alignment? Okay, cool. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Okay. So next up on the docket, lyric number 4. Um, it says there's something inside you that keeps calling me and is taking me places that I've never seen. Okay. Okay. Now we are talking about emotional expansion through intimacy, right? So we're not just talking about the outside no more. We're not just talking about, oh, she fine or he fine. You know, he got big hands or she got a big booty or she got nice curves and hips and stuff. Now we are talking about the emotional discovery, spiritual, or like being curious, the curiosity, the spiritual curiosity of that person. Vulnerability and emotional awakening. Okay, taking me places I've never seen is one of the lines that it's like, well, what do you mean? Because when we enter into relationships and things like that, where we do feel safe, seen, heard, desired, and all of that kind of stuff, the intimacy, the healthy intimacy, let me make sure I say that part, healthy intimacy introduces us to parts of ourselves that we've never fully accessed before. So that's what love can do, like we talked about earlier, things being transformative and whatnot. We talked about love being transformative, and because it's transformative, you can access parts of yourself that you've never seen before, because you've never experienced true love or real love before. So when you do start to experience it, now you are experiencing a different level or different part of yourself that you've never accessed before, you've never seen before, you've never processed before. And now it's making you reconfigure and think about things in a different way. You did? Cool. Okay, cool. um, so when you start to access those things, it becomes a totally different understanding of self, understanding of how you move, how you're present, what you do in those spaces, because now you are you have the availability to be present like never before, right? So, real love can absolutely soften emotional defenses, increase emotional openness, deepen self awareness, challenge your emotional fears and scars and all of that kind of stuff, and expand emotional capacity, right? See, I be telling y'all, even though some of the lyrics don't sound as deep as they actually are, like some of the lyrics seem very plain and simple, but when you think about the full context of the song, it makes them a lot deeper. It makes them a lot more aha, instead of it just saying like, oh, that's just simple. Everything isn't as simple as it may appear until you put all of the layers together. Now you got a beautiful ass cake, because before it was just a bunch of pieces. Now we done put it together and it's a beautiful cake. So if you listen to the song, listen to all of the things they're saying. But this is that part. This is that one part that brings all of the pieces together, because we know that people can show up in different places or different spaces when they have never been able to access this stuff. People that have never been emotionally available, aware, secure, felt understood, or desired do not operate in the same manner of people who have. So, all of those things make a relationship feel unforgettable, right? Not because the person was perfect, but because the connection allowed you to access different parts of you. And I think that's the beauty of experiencing relationships in layers, and experiencing relationships in a different way, because now you have access to parts of yourself that you never knew were there, but now you know how to navigate it moving forward, even if this relationship may not work out. Now you know how to access that part of yourself, and it gives you room to actively do it outside of the relationship too. So the mental theme is emotional awakening through intimacy, because we always want things like that to spark something, or the connection with someone to be the driving force in how we show up in those spaces, right? Cool. So, preventing toxic outcomes. Do not romanticize emotional awakening so deeply that you ignore the reality of things. Sometimes, because we get so enthralled and enamored with a person, it does create the space for us to decide that we're going to ignore the red flags or the other things that we notice in this space and in this relationship. Because sometimes we ignore those things because it's like, oh, that's just who they are. But in reality, it's a matter of, yes, that's who they are. Like, oh, that's just who they are. But no, it's like, no, that's really who they are. So there's a difference. And sometimes people awaken powerful emotions in us, but still lack the emotional maturity to sustain healthy love. Like, people want it, people see it, people are able to access it and open it up within you and within themselves. Like, you can open it in them as well, but people lack the ability to sustain healthy relationships because they've never had to sustain it, and because somebody has never had to sustain a healthy relationship before, they do not have the ability. But it does not mean that they can't get that ability to sustain it. It is a matter of want and will. Do I want to, and will I? Will I show up in order to sustain this healthy love, because I know what it has done for me or what it could do for me? So, a relationship should feel emotionally inspiring and emotionally stable. Stable. Okay, that's the key word. Stable. It should be stable. Both of those things matter. It should be emotionally inspiring and emotionally stable, right? So the reflective question is, did this connection truly help you grow, or did it just awaken emotions you weren't prepared to manage yet? Because that's part of it. Sometimes Those emotions get awakened, and now we don't know what to do with them, but also we don't know how to manage all of the feelings and all of the things and the responsibility, because there is responsibility when it comes to caring for someone or being in a relationship with someone. And there is a responsibility that you have for being the person to that opened up that vault within them, right? We might be like, oh, that's not my responsibility, but it is, because you're the one who opened that door. And now it's not your responsibility to help them manage it, but it is your responsibility to be careful of the things that you awaken in somebody else. It is. Y'all don't have to agree, but it is. So, number 6, the lyrical breakdown. Number 5. I said number 6, number 5. It's number 5. I'm skipping ahead. Number 5, don't take your love for granted, because love won't wait for you. Okay. Y'all probably like, okay, Leo, how is that? So profound. Well, let me tell you, okay? That lyric is absolutely one of the most emotionally mature lyrics in the song. It's emotionally mature because we are talking about intentionality. And what a lot of people don't do is talk about being motherfucking intentional. We overlook being intentional. We skip over talking about intentionality. We skip over talking about what it looks like to be intentional in love, in relationships, in business, in all of that. We have to be intentional. We cannot be casual, because you will become a casualty. So you have to be intentional about the love that you give. You have to be intentional about how you show up, how you prepare, what you open up, what you access, all of those kind of things. Because what? Because we don't want emotional dependency. We don't want people out here losing their shit. We don't want people out here going crazy and all of that kind of stuff, or going insane, because this love is so good. So this particular set of lyrics understands that many people, that sometimes people learn too late that love requires participation, right? We all talk about wanting love, desiring love, and all of those kind of things, but a lot of us fail to be intentional and move with purpose when we talk about love. You cannot be a passerby when we talk about love and all of that other kind of stuff. You can't. You just can't. Okay? So, this understands that people often assume that this person always be here, we'll fix it later, we got time. They know how I feel, I'll prioritize them eventually. And one of the things that we don't do a lot is that we are not intentional. Okay, we have to be intentional. We have to show up when it comes to love, because love requires participation. It is not an if, and, or but. Love requires it. It is absolutely a requirement for a healthy relationship, for healthy communication, for healthy boundaries, all of that. We have to communicate, but we also have to participate. So, in order for this person to understand what you are giving and what they need, or what you may need, you have to participate. You have to show up for the love. You cannot prioritize them later down the line, because one of the things that we do as people and as humans, very often, we always think that we have time. We always think that we can do it later, all of those kind of things. There is no guaranteed later, right? We all know that. So, one of the reasons that we cannot get into the space of not being intentional about love, because there's this thing called distance that happens. And then when the emotional distance starts to creep in, it might be little at first, but then smaller, little increments over time actually adds the fuck up. You see that? Because we started right here, and then the distance was, it was very little, it was very minuscule. And then little by little, if we keep taking those little bitty pieces of not being present, not being a participant in the relationship, now the emotional distance happens, and then emotional too much distance over time becomes permanent. Now you can't get back to the feeling of, oh my God, that's my favorite person, and blah, 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 and da, da, da. Sometimes that distance is going to stay exactly where it's at or get even wider. So, this is why we prioritize. This is why we show up. This is why we fix it now. This is why we make sure that this person is heard, understood, loved, cared for, and appreciated. So that way we don't get here, right? Cool. So, this lyric is a reminder that affection needs expression. Intimacy needs maintenance, and relationships need effort. Okay? Neglected love slowly starves emotionally. We can't be out here starving our person emotionally and not participating in the connection, the relationship, or any of that, and then still expect them to swoon over us. Fuck out my face. That would be my thought. Fuck out of my face. So the mental theme is intentional love versus emotional complacency. Do not become complacent. Now, I'm not saying that we have to be always doing, always being, always. No, but we do have to always be intentional. You don't have to always be buying gifts or always spending money or always going out or always doing, but you do have to be intentional. You do have to make sure that you are being present for your person, right? Because without it, or without the presence, it leaves room. Like I said, that space gonna leave room for another body eventually, okay? Or maybe not another person, but it also may leave room for that person to decide that you are no longer their person, that they want to fill that space with other things, other time, other adventures, other events. And now they have no time for you because you didn't make time for them. So, all right. So we're going to prevent some toxic outcomes. Never be so comfortable that you stop nurturing the relationship. That's what a lot of people do. That's how a lot of people often end up in those spaces where they got that gap. Okay. Continue communicating, showing appreciation, expressing affection, making emotional effort, being emotionally present. Love rarely disappears instantly. That shit is not an overnight disappearance. And a lot of us are delusional to think it happened overnight. No, it happened little by little. You stop showing up. You stop telling her she's pretty. You stop telling him he smell good. You stop rubbing on his beard. You stop rubbing on her feet. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, little things over time make for bigger space in the relationship. So it fades through neglect. Neglect over time can create chaos, right? It can create chaos. It can create a void in the relationship. So in order to not have a void, don't be avoidant. Yeah, I like that, did y'all? I know y'all did. So the reflective question: are you actively nurturing your relationships or assuming love will survive without emotional effort? Because if that's what you're assuming, we know what we say about making assumptions, right? Right. So think about it, y'all. And we have come to the end of time. I'm gonna give y'all the closing reflection. This song, I Love You by Keith Washington and Chanté Moore, is a beautiful record. One, because it captures something many people deeply crave. Like, we really want to be in love. A lot of people, regardless of if they say it or not, people really do want to be in love deeply, passionately. People want the fairy tale. People want to be fully enthralled, and all of that kind of stuff. But people also crave emotionally safe love. People want that deep love, that passionate love, that in until the end of time kind of love. But a lot of us aren't willing to put in the work. A lot of us aren't willing to do the things and receive constructive criticism for how we show up in those relationships and things. So, um, we want that safe love. We don't want the love where we gotta survive. Oh, because we so tired of struggle love. So many of us have endured struggle love for so long and so many years that that's not the shit we trying to dive into. We not trying to do none of that. We don't want chaotic attachment. We don't want trauma bonds. No, we don't want that. Okay. And then thirdly, no, we do not want emotionally inconsistent connections. Nobody wants that, because then it creates the thoughts in within yourself. Am I enough? Am I not pretty enough? Am I, then it creates all of the questions that make you look inward and start asking yourself, are you the problem? And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is the fact that the other person is not a willing participant in the relationship. You did? So, this song is about reassurance, emotional surrender, vulnerability, comfort, emotional closeness, and the fear of losing something that finally feels real, right? Because we love that feeling. We love that connection and that depth and that all of that kind of stuff. But the deeper lesson in this song is this: love should feel emotionally freeing, not imprisoning. You should not feel imprisoned when you are in love or loving on somebody or in connection with someone. It should not feel like you have to constantly put your guard up or constantly feel like you are being monitored by the warden. Okay. The right relationship can absolutely soften you. That's why a lot of people talk about being in a soft girl era and all of that kind of stuff. I feel like I'm currently in my soft wench era. Merch coming soon. I feel like I'm currently in my soft wench era. So because I'm in that era in my life and in that space and in that time, I do want to be soft. I do want to be held. I do want to be um considered and all of those kind of things. Because one of the things I've learned being single for too long will make you not, it will make you feel like you don't need those things. And I've always been a lover girl through and through. So I will never say I don't need those things. And I will never say that I don't need a partner, because I absolutely do. So relationships can also inspire you and emotionally awaken you. Like we said, the access to the vault of those things. So, healthy love also still leaves room for individuality, boundaries, emotional balance, and self awareness. Because we don't want to be out here so deeply in love that it becomes unhealthy. We don't want to be drunk or dangerously in love, okay? We want to be in healthy love, and healthy love still creates boundaries and all of that other kind of stuff. So the goal is to not disappear into that person or into love. The goal is to experience love while remaining emotionally whole, emotionally stable, and emotionally aware and available. All right, cool. So that's what makes this song so beautiful, because it talks about those different aspects and those different parts of it. So don't forget to go listen to the song and then come back and finish watching the show, or watch the show and then go listen to the song. Either way, whatever you decide to do, make sure you watch this whole damn show. But the song is timeless, and it understands that real love isn't just about passion, it's about emotional peace as well. So, the reflection that I would love for you to do after you have watched the show is to think about a relationship in your life that made you feel emotionally safe. Then ask yourself, did that love help you become more of yourself? Or did you slowly begin centering your entire emotional world around that person? Because That's the difference between dependency and emotional safety. Like now you done became fully dependent on this person. Even though healthy love should feel grounding, it should not be all encompassing. It should not be fully consuming you. All right? All right. So get into our last episode as well when you got a minute. It was Pause by Jill Scott. Jill Scott, Pause is an interlude, a very powerful interlude. It's less than, I believe it's less than 2 minutes, but it's powerful. And the lyrical lesson with Leo from last week was absolutely amazing. So make sure you tap into Pause by Jill Scott. And again, make sure you check out all things PGC. Tap into our YouTube channel. We finally hit 1,000 subscribers, guys. We want to thank y'all for that. We want to thank y'all for helping us hit that mark. Now it's time to run up the watch hours. Make sure you go on over there and watch everything on the Fat Girl Chronicles YouTube channel. Join our email list. And if you'd like to keep seeing all of the things that PGC has rolling, moving, and grooving, you can buy us a coffee. All right. All right. So tap in, do all the things. And then don't forget about our latest show, PGC Plugged In. It is where business, culture, creativity, and community connect and stay plugged in. All right. And also don't forget all of our other things. PGC Tuesdays on the Fat Girl Chronicles and PGC After Dark on Fridays. And our connection show, PGC. Nope, I'm lying. Our connection show is Thursday Night Live with our partners over there at Sarkarigan's Media Group. But we about to get out of this thing because y'all hear the phone over there ringing. Apparently somebody want to talk to me. But anybody wants to talk to me all day. But that is the end of tonight's lyrical lessons with Leo. I am your lyrical therapist, and this is a PGC media production. If the lesson resonated with you in this episode, share it. And if you got a song request, send it to me. The couch is always open. And next week, I got a surprise for y'all. And I'm pretty sure you guys are not ready. But until then, keep listening to the music and keep listening to yourself. Love on yourself and each other. I'm out this thing. Peace, y'all. Later, guys. And I love you.